Do we have people?
Hey everyone, we're getting ready to get started. I think we have all of Zoom and Facebook and everything up and running at this point. So hopefully you can see me and hear me. I had a few of you telling me that I was talking earlier, but I was having conversations here. I wasn't ready to go live yet. So, but we are right at 6:30 right now on my clocks here. I see a lot of hellos over in chat. Let's keep a reminder that for chat today, let's keep our chat comments related to the meeting and the camp time, and that will help us keep track of everything that is going on today. So you can comment, answer questions, get involved in what we are doing here in the live camp, both on Zoom in chat and on Facebook in the comments on the live over there. So I am excited to see everybody. As a reminder, if you are joining us on Zoom, that means you've opted into the media authorization from the Girl Scout Council because this is streaming over to Facebook and will save over there. So if you feel like you do not want that to be the case, then go ahead and log out of Zoom and jump over on Facebook. The stream is up and running over there. So you should be set to get on over there. All right. I see a lot of hellos and welcomes. It's good to see everybody here tonight. I am sure we will have some more joining us as we get going. As a reminder, I'm Miss Beth, and I'm the one you hear each night. Miss Tabitha is our behind the scenes co-director for Greene Summer Camp. When we do virtual camp, she's the one that helps manage all of our bundle orders and invoicing and packaging. So if you have participated in that optional part of camp, then you have heard from her, and you guys have kept her really, really busy with all of your orders that have been coming in. So we are excited that in July you will be getting camp t-shirts and patches, and the journey patches you earned by participating with us this week. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started with our pledge and our promise. So for those of you that are, watching live, or even if you're watching this as a playback later, when we do our pledge, we ask that you stand up, put your hand over your heart, and join in on the pledge. I'm going to get Grace and Sophie to come over here so that they can say our pledge, and then we'll roll straight into our promise right after that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
All right, way to kick it off. Thank you, girls. And girls, hey, you ran way too fast because our next part is our song of Make Me a Friend. So I'm just gonna scoot over and let them join in here next to me and sing.
Make new friends, but keep the old. Learning stuff where the others go. A circle's round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. I have a hand, and you have another. Put them together and we have each other.
Thank you, ladies. All right. So we have kicked off our start here for today, which we are day 3. We're almost halfway done with camp. Can you guys believe that? All right, so what we're gonna do is our game first. So tonight I'm not gonna make you do any exercises or yoga, okay? So if that was not your jam, then tonight is your night for our game, all right? So what you're gonna do is take your paper and your pencil that I asked you to bring to the camp session with you. I want you to get that out, and you're gonna need it because you're gonna wanna draw as I'm talking. So what I am going to do is I have a maze, and I am going to talk my way through the maze, okay? So on the screen, I put how you should position your paper and where to start, all right? So one thing you do have to know is a little bit about your directions for this. So if I say up, then it would be going up on the page. If I say down, it would be going down toward the bottom of the page. If I say right, you're going to go towards the right, and left, go towards the left. So you have to know the difference between right and left. Now, I will not have you go off the page. So if at some point you were like off the page, then maybe we kind of missed a direction, and that's okay. All right. That's the part of it, is to see if my descriptions are good for you guys to follow your way through the maze. Okay. So everybody is going to have their piece of paper and their pencil or their pen ready. And I am going to, grab my picture. I have so many things open here with Zoom that I have to figure out where it goes. Okay, ready? Everybody ready? Okay, so starting at your star. Okay, everybody know where we're starting? All right. I'm gonna talk like I'm walking through the maze. Okay, so I'm gonna use the reference of steps. So you kind of figure out what a step would be, and let me do a quick count. The depth of the paper would be 5 steps. And across the paper, I should have figured this out before we started. Sorry, guys. Would be 10. So as I'm talking about if I am walking through the maze, that's where I'm going, okay? So the downside would be 5 the most, and the cross is 10 the most, okay? And the unit of measure is whatever you are doing, okay? All right, so I am going to take 3 steps down. And then once I am down, so I am facing, at that point, my nose is facing the bottom of the paper, okay? But I'm gonna do directions the way that you guys are seeing it, because now that I think about it, if I do it that way, it's gonna be confusing. So looking at the paper, I took 3 steps down. Now I'm gonna take 2 steps to the right. Then I'm gonna take 1 step down, 1 step to the left, 1 step down. Now I'm going to take 3 steps to the right, 1 step up, 1 step to the right, 2 steps up, 1 step to the left, 1 step up, 1 step to the right, One step down. One step to the right. One step up. Three steps to the right. One step down. One step to the left. Two steps down. One step to the left. One step down. Two steps to the right. Whew. All right. That was a lot of little steps. I think I even messed up, so I had to kind of auto fix what I was saying at one point because I was telling you guys to move when we'd already gotten to one point. So you guys can show on the screen what you ended up with here in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the maze that we walked through. Okay. And then here's our answer path. My drawing was not stellar earlier, so you guys have to forgive me. So I think, I don't know if you, could you guys see my mouse on the screen? I don't know if you can see that. I think I messed up giving instructions right here. So I changed it up here somewhere, I think up here, to try to get you guys back on track so that we were still within the 10 wide. So even like giving the instructions was very complicated on my end because I was walking through it. I didn't write it out to just read off to you guys. I was looking at it and going through it. So if you want to show everybody what you got up on the screen, you can hold it up to your camera and you guys can scroll through and see what other people put up there. I did not do this right. It's kind of tricky, isn't it, when all you're doing is listening? And if you get behind, then you're kind of stuck because you can't really go back. I saw somebody say, you know, the audio cut out, and I felt bad because if I went back, then I was like, I'd have to like start over because I couldn't just like figure out what part we were in. So I liked this exercise because it goes back to our conversations the other night when we talked about communication. And this is very important. So I'm sure you guys at some point have played some games like where somebody's blindfolded and you have to walk them to something or, you know, something along that. So this was kind of along that experience, but, you know, online here. Since nobody had to be blindfolded. But I hope you guys found that interesting. You could definitely try this with your family. The maze that is on the screen is just one that I found online. So you can find a maze online and then, you know, get your family to walk through it as you give instructions and see where they end up. And, you know, it's kind of one of those things where almost every time somebody ends up with, or, you know, everybody ends up with different pictures, even though you said the same thing to everyone. So I hope you guys had fun with that game. Okay, once again, we're connecting back to communication and the importance of communication. And we've talked, you know, on the first day, we talked about even how our honeybees communicate. Yesterday, we were talking about advocacy and how important that is, and that involves communication for sure. So I hope all this is starting to tie together a little bit for you guys as we have been working through our activities this week. All right. So up next, I think next is our to-dos. Yes. All right, so you guys like flooded my inbox with pictures. Now, if you didn't get a chance to send in pictures for today, you can still send in pictures and I'll add them to our presentation tomorrow. Some of the pictures, like I got confused because I had so many of them coming in. So if I have the wrong name or if I don't have your name, I apologize because I was downloading pictures and then they'd like disappear from my email. So I'm hoping that I got everybody's pictures and names right. If you see something that's you can say, yay, that's me in the chat. If you see something that somebody's doing and it's something that you also love, then you can say, hey, I do that too. But remember, we are going to be positive about everything that is being shared here. I have to say, you guys are such a talented group of Girl Scouts because the pictures you guys sent were amazing. Now, remember, we have daisies, so our rising first graders through our rising 12th graders in camp. So we have a lot of ages here. So you're going to see a lot of different pictures on the slides here. Like I said, if you didn't get yours turned in and you still want to turn one in, you can do that tomorrow. And I will include that information in the email. I'm just going to click through some of these. I want to see some of the comments that you guys have flooding in on these slides because, like I said, you guys just knocked it out of the park with sending in what you like to do. And one of the reasons we wanted to talk about our to-dos or stuff that we do is because what we find is that when we do these types of activities, then we end up excelling and building confidence in ourselves. So as we do these things that we like playing the piano or dancing or graphics, then we will build that confidence in ourselves to be that courageous Girl Scout that we want to be. All right, hold on, let me keep clicking. I'm losing my mouse over here. So you guys can see there are like so many of you guys have art galleries that I don't know how you have a spare wall in your house because you guys are complete artists in what you do. We have everything. I think we had computer graphics, we had photography, we had drawings, like activities that girls were doing in person. There was so much that was sent in. I loved seeing the creativity that you guys had and what you were doing. If you sent over a bunch of pictures, I tried to grab like one or two of them just so that I could get everybody's picture in here. As it is, I have so many slides of pictures. You guys are going to see why I was like, all right, let me grab this one and this one. And yeah, so you guys can see all the activities that everybody is involved in. Look at all of this. So much. I love it. And you guys might be seeing someone that is put in a similar picture to what you did. So I hope you can say, hey, I did that too. I know that my Sophie saw the potholders pictures that were put in and she likes to make potholders. So I hope that you guys are finding connections with others, either through, like the arts or the activities, or even the like the pictures of you doing stuff. Like I do that too, okay? All right, so many pictures. We still have more. I'm not done yet. Don't worry. We are still clicking through here. I'm gonna be honest, I have so many that I don't even know how many slides of these pictures I have at this point. But the creativity is off the charts here. If you guys gave me your level in the email, then I tried to put it in there. If I didn't get that in the email or I missed it, then I didn't put it in there. I know some people are asking how old everybody is. So if I got that information, I included it. But I think I really tried to get everybody that sent before camp. I had some last minute ones come in and I know I tried to grab them. So if you were a last minute one, I think I got yours. If not, then I will find it and grab it for tomorrow night. All right, we are getting there. I can see the end of all of our activities. Look at this. All right. We have, I think, one more after this slide. Okay. And I think that's everyone that emailed me. If I by chance missed yours, then if you can re-forward it to me, then that will help. Like I said, my inbox was going pretty crazy, and at one point I even lost the email that the picture was attached to, so I know I missed a name. So, and those of you that didn't want to share a picture, that's okay. I hope you still celebrate your to-dos, because that is, very important. No matter what phase of life we're in, is having that activity that, we really do well at and we enjoy. And like I said, it's that confidence building activity, and we all really need that. All right. So next up, we are going to transition into songs. And starting tonight, we have 2 songs that we are going to do. There we go. All right, so our first song is the bear song. Sophie, do we want to show the video and not the screen? No, do we want to show the slide, or do we want to show the singers? All right, Sophie's not understanding what I'm saying. All right, yes, I think my video is spotlighted. Okay. So we are going to start the bear song here. Sophie, are you and Grace singing this, or are you and I singing this? Okay. So Sophie and Grace are going to come over and sing the bear song. The video was posted for this song, and this is a repeat after me song. So what you can do is you can listen. Who's leading? Sophie's going to lead. So you can listen to Sophie, and then when Grace is singing, that would be the part that you follow along with. Okay, so it's going to keep going back and forth, except then it repeats like the whole line. So you'll catch on to it really quick if you don't know what I'm talking about. If you didn't get to watch the video that we had put together to talk through it. So let's go ahead and get started. First up is bear song, and then we have bazooka bubblegum. So we'll do bear song, and then we'll go into bazooka bubblegum.
Ready? The other day, I met a bear, out in the woods, away up there. The other day, I met a bear, out in the woods, away up there. He looked at me, I looked at him, he sized up me, I sized up him, he looked at me, I looked at him. He sized up me, I sized up him. He said to me, why don't you run? I see you in. Got any gun? He said to me, why don't you run? I see you ain't got any gun. And so I ran, away from there, but right behind me was that bear, and so I ran away from there. But right behind me was that bear. Ahead of me, there tree. There was a tree. A great big tree. A great big tree. Oh, glory be. Oh, glory be. Ahead of me there was a tree. A great big tree, oh glory be. The nearest branch was 10 feet up, was 10 feet up. I had to jump, and trust my luck, The nearest branch was 10 feet up. I had to jump and trust my luck. And so I jumped, into the air, But I missed that branch, oh, way up there, And so I jumped into the air. But I missed that branch away up there. Now don't you fret, and don't you frown, I caught that branch, on the way back down, Now don't you fret, and don't you frown. 'Cause I caught that branch on the way back down. This is the end. There ain't no more. Unless I meet that bear once more. This is the end. There ain't no more. Unless I meet that bear once more. The end, 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 the end. The end, the end, the end, the end. And now you want us to do the next song? Yeah. Now we're going to do Bazooka Bubblegum. Is there lyrics for this one? No, not. Okay. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Say what? Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. I can't hear you. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. My mom gave me a penny. She said to buy a henny. I did not buy a henny. Instead, I bought some bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Say what? Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. I can't hear you. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. My mom gave me a nickel. She said to buy a pickle. I did not buy a pickle. Instead, I bought some bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Say what? Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. I can't hear you. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. My mom gave me a dime. She said to buy a lime. I did not buy a lime. Instead, I bought some bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Say what? Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. I can't hear you. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. My mom gave me a quarter. She said to buy some water. I did not buy some water. Instead, I bought some bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Say what? Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. I can't hear you. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. My mom gave me $1. She said to buy a collar. I did not buy a collar. Instead, I bought some bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Say what? Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. I can't hear you. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. My mom gave me a 5. She said to stay alive. I did not stay alive. Instead, I choked on bubblegum. Bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Say what? Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. I can't hear you. Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum.
All right, thank you guys. I hope everyone is enjoying the song time during camp. When we are in person, we do a lot of singing at camp. So it might be during our opening or our closing time, we sing extra songs. When we're walking to our different stations, because we generally do a station setup when we're in person, we will be singing. So we try to bring what we do in in-person camp to virtual camp and make that still be a camp experience. So for those of you that are used to going to Girl Scout camps, then you probably have songs that your camps sing all the time. So these are some of the ones that our girls love to sing year after year. So we will have another song tomorrow. And then Friday, we will sing all our songs for the week because everybody seems to love the song sessions. So, all right, give me 1 second to reshare. All right, so I think everybody can see my screen again, where we are going to talk about the next part of our camp activities here. Okay, so the next part of our camp activities is working on a community map. So the paper that you have, the pen or pencil you have, you're going to need to get that out again. All right. Any of the older girls that have worked on either a silver or a gold award, this is probably a concept that you are familiar with because it is part of the higher awards and what you have to turn in for those, okay? For those of you that are at younger levels, we're just going to introduce it earlier. And when you get up to those levels, you will be familiar with what this concept is. Because I know the first time that I was leading cadets and we got to this part of the silver award process, I was like, I don't know what this is. So I had to start digging around and finding and learning myself because when I earned my silver award forever ago, this is not something that I had to do. So what we are going to work on is thinking about a community map, okay? So a community map is gonna be a certain area, and the top section of this slide talks about what community you wanna map. If you wanna map your neighborhood, your school, sports group, a house of worship, Girl Scouts, an imaginary community, or something else, okay? So whatever you pick, that's the right pick, okay? And then what we are going to do is draw out how that community works or looks. And this kind of can go different ways because when we are doing it with our higher awards, for the most part, the girls that I have worked with, they are drawing like, you know, the map of the town or the map of the county that we live in. They are drawing a map of, you know, areas of the county and needs of the county. You know, we were talking about advocacy yesterday that, you know, just exist in our community. So they kind of do it at the community level. But like I said, it's not buildings. They're just kind of adding in pictures. And I'm going to show you some examples that I was able to grab of what girls have done for me for Silver Awards. Now, I will add in the disclaimer, every council has different rules. So what we are able to turn in for silver or gold might not work in your council. So do not please go back and say, well, Ms. Beth said this worked and you know, this is what it has to be. You definitely have to work with your council and understand what their definition of this activity is, okay? So, but what you are gonna do is remember this top part up here. You wanna figure out what you want to draw a map of, okay? like it says, it gives you examples here: neighborhood, school, a sports group, house of worship, Girl Scouts, imaginary community. A lot of times my girls like to do their actual community. So if that is something that is easy for you to think about, then maybe that's where you are. Now, some of you guys are very, very creative, as we saw in our to-dos. So maybe imaginary is really what you guys want to do. If that's the case, that's awesome, okay? So what I'm going to show next are some examples. All right. And they aren't like gonna like be bright colors here, okay? Because they were sketched out. So these examples, we're thinking of needs in the community and how our community serves each other. As we were thinking about, like I said, higher award projects, because for your silver award, you have to think about needs in your community, okay? So, and the same thing applies to your gold, is identifying those. So in this activity, we are thinking about whatever community we want to define. Remember, we had so many options on the previous page: neighborhood, school, Girl Scouts, imaginary, your actual community, your place of worship, your sports team, you know, whatever it is, okay? I find it works best if you define what that community is at the top. Unfortunately, on these, that was not defined. But that's okay, because they were for their project and it was meant to be their community. So this was like their real life community. So if my girls were doing this today for this activity, they would want to write Greene County Community at the top of the page, okay? If it is your imaginary community, then name it whatever you want. You know, it could be the Purple Unicorn Community or whatever it is that you want to focus on, okay? So, but what you are going to do is think about that community, and then you are going to think about how that community works together, what the needs are in that community, and, you know, even like schools yesterday, if we use the school example, we talked about changes around school lunch. So if we thought about our map being the overall school, one thing could be school lunches, but I'm sure there's other things that have needs or you know, kind of that influence area within the schools that we would want to document on our community map. Now these ones have, you know, sketches on them, so you can do a little sketch. You can definitely do this on a computer after if you want to. I've had one done on a computer in my years, and it was amazing. So if that is what you like, then definitely you can work towards that. But right now you're going to get some time to work on that. I'm going to look and try to answer questions because I see questions coming in. And then we are going to, you know, kind of talk on this for just another second. But what we are going to do is, like yesterday, you guys sent me pictures of your to-dos. Today, you're going to send me pictures of your community maps so that I can share those tomorrow. So when you do that, like I said, put a label on there of what the community is. But then at the bottom, if you can also just write your name, if it's okay with your parents. If it's not okay, then don't put your name. But first names are good. I don't need last names. I'm not sharing last names when I'm doing stuff. So, you know, keep thinking through this. If you have questions, drop them in the chat on Zoom or chat on Facebook, and I will be trying to get to replies. I'm going to mute myself for a couple minutes so that I can do that, and I will be looking for questions. Now, raising your hand is very hard for me to find you because there's so many people on Zoom right now. So you're better off sending me a chat so that I can get you an answer back, okay? So take a minute and draw, or you can just use words if you just want to use words, but think through this and think about, you know, how this would be. I'm going to actually flip back to what we talked about this project was, so that you have this to read while you are working on it. See, I just got a question of, do we have to email? No, you do not. All of the submission requests that we put out are optional. So you do not have to email what you're working on. In order to complete your journey, you do need to do the task, but you do not have to turn it in. Okay, we do work off of the Girl Scout honor system here. All right, let me see if I can answer some other questions here while I go on mute for a minute and you guys have these instructions to reference. So it could be an actual map, but it doesn't have to be. I just had that question come in. So it doesn't have to look like a map. If you want it to look like a map, it can. But the examples I showed you, neither of those were really a map. It was more of like a brainstorming cloud session, which some of you that have done that in school might be familiar with that concept. Okay, a few questions that kept coming up in chat and for the benefit of our friends on Facebook. Can it be my house? Yes, it can be your house. Remember, we are describing, it says at the bottom, the needs, the issues, or problems that might exist there, okay? So whatever our location is, it can be real, it can be imaginary. That was another question that came up again. And then I had another question that popped up a couple times. Let me see if I can find it. Is it a map? So it doesn't have to be a map, you know, with like the buildings and the streets and all of that. The ones that I showed you definitely weren't a map. It can be just like a graphic organizer style where you are brainstorming and putting everything together. So it's really up to you how this looks. And whatever you come up with, whatever direction you're going with, at this point, go ahead and stick with that. I had somebody ask if they should, you know, change what they were doing. No, keep going in the direction that you're going. Just make sure that you are thinking through the needs, the issues, or the problems for that community, that location, be it real or imaginary or big or small. It might be your whole local real community. It might be your house. It might be your neighborhood. Any of that as you are going through. Let me see. I have some more questions coming in. I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting all of the answers. All right, it looks like I have answered the questions. So you guys can, you can keep working through this. I have another couple minutes for you guys to keep, working through this. If you are having questions, send them over. If you want to submit them at the end of the night, you definitely can. And like today, I would take the submissions up until the cutoff time that I put in the email. Just because I have to get everything in the slides. So I'm having to download, then paste, and all of that in there. So I am not seeing a lot of questions coming. I'm seeing that some people are saying that they're done. So I think we are getting close. I think some of you are trying to share. So we have a whole lot of people on Zoom right now. So you might not be able to find the person that's trying to share their map on their screen. It can also be hard to see white paper when you guys hold it up, just because of the lighting most of the time. Unless it's like really bright or printed, a lot of the times it just shows up white when it's held up to the screen. So if you're trying to hold up something and people saying they aren't seeing what you drew, that might be part of it. No, you do not have to submit your drawing. You do need to complete it to complete this activity for the journey, but you do not have to submit it. All right, I'm still seeing pencils flying on some of the cameras that are on. So to submit your drawing, you don't need to show your face. You can take a picture of just the drawing and email that in. And if you want your name with it, we can put your name with it. If you don't want your name with it, just don't put name in the email when you send it to me. Or do you need to email this to me? I'm still getting questions. The answer is no. You don't have to email it to me. If you want to email it to me, you can, okay? Just like with your to-dos, and I will share. I'm gonna drop in chat as long as I can type while I'm on the camera. It's the email that all the emails for camp have been going to. So it's Girl Scouts in Greene with an extra E at the end of greene@gmail.com. Let me answer. It looks like I have a couple questions that just came in. You have until about 5 tomorrow to send. Yes, yes. So like I said, it's not required to submit it. You guys like sharing what you do, obviously by today and the to-dos that everybody shared. So I hope that I do get some of these that come in and we are able to look at, because I'd love to see them. All right. So if you want to keep working on this and listening, you certainly can, but I'm going to keep talking through because we're kind of getting towards the end of what we are going to be working on for today. So the next topic we are going to talk about is starting to figure out what our take action is. So the take action is something that we put together at the end of a journey to really advance whatever we were talking about in that journey. So the fact that this journey included the topic of advocacy applies a lot to take actions, because that's what a lot of the take actions tend to be, is an advocacy effort towards, kind of whatever you're doing. And the overall journey is, it's their world, change it. So what we want to be doing for our take actions is something related to that thought. Okay, so it's your world, change it. We talked about issues yesterday that we can influence. We talked about a lot of topics in the chat and the conversation that we had yesterday. So for camp, we kind of have a couple of take action concepts that work well for camp and the time that we have for camp. So some of you in your troops and your service units might be used to very large take action projects. But when we do a journey at camp, we do a take action project that we can keep within the bounds of camp, okay? So a lot of times our take action projects are putting together a poster and it might not be like a huge poster. It might be, like a smaller sheet of paper poster. It might be doing a skit. So when we meet in person, we perform the skits. Last year when we did our journey, I had girls that videoed their skits and turned them in. Last year we had some girls that just kind of wrote out a paragraph, or the parents helped them write out thoughts around the topic that they wanted to include in their take action. So what I need for you to do tomorrow is you will have some time during our hour to work on your take action project, okay? So you need to bring the supplies that you might need. So maybe if you're doing a poster, you need to bring a piece of paper and markers. Maybe if you are going to do a skit, you need to actually just bring a piece of paper and a pencil so that you can write out your script. I need you to kind of think through what, would really work well for you. Now, some of the topics that we talked about yesterday that we could advocate around, we definitely had, the whole school lunch topic that we talked through. So maybe that's one that really identified with you and you would like to talk about that. I know we've talked about recycling and the environment. Those are good take action topics for this journey. Okay. I will say that generally within the bounds of Greene Girl Scout Camp, we do stay away from political statements or, kind of sides like that. So if that's a project that you really want to work on, that's more than fine. But what I will say is that's not something that we try to share out. So if you want to send it to me, I will say thank you for sending it, and I'll acknowledge that we have it, but we won't include anything that is political based in our presentation when we go through everything on Friday. Okay, so I'm getting some questions. Can you do stuff together? So yes. So last year's camp, we had a bunch of siblings in camp or troops that were working on it together. You can do your take action together. That's fine. As with your to-dos and your community map, you are not required to submit your take action to me. To complete the journey, you do have to do the take action, but you do not have to turn it into me. The turning it into me just allows you to share it out and let others, kind of enjoy what you've put together. Maybe it's your art, maybe it's your poem, maybe it's your paragraph where you're talking about what it is. Whatever really works with you. Maybe you are one of the graphic designers in our to-dos. Maybe it's something along those lines, or the skits, okay? So I will review everything that comes in and make sure that we are good in sharing content. If it feels like something that I can't share, I will reach out to you and let you know that standing beforehand. But tomorrow, what you need to do is bring it to your supplies. Okay, we want you to be working on that during camp time tomorrow. Okay, so bring that with you. All right. So before we, finish everything out today, we have our closing song and then a couple announcements after our closing song. Okay, and then we will basically be wrapped up for the night. So I'm going to ask Sophie and Grace to pop over and help us sing our closing song real quick. I'm getting questions of if you can make a poster. Yes, you can make a poster. A couple poster questions. Yeah, if you have questions on your topic, definitely you can either send me an email or when we get online tomorrow, definitely send those as questions in chat and we will work on answering the questions there. We're going to start our posters tomorrow. All right. Day is done, gone the sun, from the lakes, from the hills, from the sky, all is well, safely rest, God is nigh. All right, thank you, girls. A couple of reminders, we have camp bundles are still for sale. If you are wanting a camp t-shirt, fun patch for the back of your vest, or the official journey for the front of your vest, the orders for our bundles in tomorrow night on Thursday, and Miss Tabitha is working on everyone with that. Tomorrow, you will need to bring your Take Action supplies. You can continue to email me your to-dos and your community maps so they can go in our slides tomorrow. And our song tomorrow is Boom Chicka Boom. That will post to Facebook in about 45 minutes or so. So you will be able to find that up there and practice that song for tomorrow. And we're done for the night. So we are over halfway done with camp since we are done with our third day. We have been having a lot of fun this week. I hope that you guys have been having fun too. And I hope that you guys once again fill up my inbox with all of your amazing work. And we will see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks.